Hi! Today we're going to talk about the compatibility between a Gemini, Cancer cusp, and a Pisces. You would be very intertwined with a Pisces. They pull you in like a riptide. Often the focus of your love somehow becomes the space you're both in. Your external environment can actually dictate the success of the relationship. You both need to isolate yourselves from everyone else on a regular basis in order to solidify your connection. But you need to be solid with yourself first and foremost if you want this to work. Never let your Pisces take control of you or tell you what you can and can't do. The more you connect with your Pisces, the more you're going to try to distance yourselves from your loved ones. Never let that happen if you want this to last. You're going to need the rest of the world if you want to function with a Pisces. You would appreciate how aware your Pisces is of your feelings. You both tend to be terrible at budgeting when you date each other. It's like money problems just follow this couple around. You might feel like your Pisces is domineering or that they're egotistical. They can seem self-absorbed. You're very different on an emotional level. When you both live together, your space will reflect the energies of the relationship. You both need a safe space to feel grounded and focused. You naturally try to do your best to keep outside threats away from your relationship, and you try to do your best to protect it. Now, part of that is building a love fortress. Love shack. A love fortress. And this can look like isolating yourselves off from the world. As long as you have a really strong foundation, you can get through anything. Never let that inner fire dim. It's easy to fall prey to your desires and let your addictions take over or binge things when you're with your Pisces. Remember, Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and Neptune is that ethereal planet, the one that you escape into. You know, a lot of the time when there's a lot of Neptunian energy in a chart, you just know that person lives in this kind of fantasy world. They have such a big imagination. They get lost in their fantasies. They get swept up. They need to escape things. And that's Pisces. So when you're dating a Pisces, you have to be careful not to try to escape. They can influence you. Stay away from those vices. You would be very attracted to how profound your Pisces is. That's that water energy, that Cancer energy that you have that also seeks to go deeper, just in a different way than a Pisces. They're very truthful with you, and you're both very open with each other. Despite money problems plaguing this couple, it is actually really common for you both to tend to be more careful with money. You're a very sensual couple who loves having sex. You can be very sexually compatible. You both tend to be really skilled at keeping things from each other for a really long time, no matter how honest you are. You're not afraid to call each other out or tell each other how you really feel or be super blunt in your communication. But that does not mean you tell each other everything. When people visit the home you and your Pisces share, they will often see a reflection of your relationship. Your space is like an invisible limb to your love. So for example, if you have a complete wreck of a home, like everything's so messy, it's pure chaos, it's going to reflect the energy of your relationship. It tends to make your relationship feel chaotic, and it feels like a mirror of that. If your relationship is super organized, super things are going really well, and there isn't a lot of complications, your home is probably going to look really organized. It's going to look simple. There is usually a very strong connection also with how you decorate your home to the vibe of your relationship, which is really intriguing if you ask me. So how you decorate your space together is going to be very crucial to the success of your relationship. You both love being with each other to a fault. It's common for you to somehow get your friends involved in your drama, and you might put them in an uncomfortable position. Be aware of this. Because your environment can be such a big deal, it's easy to get attached to material things. But you can't get carried away, okay? These attachments may be unhealthy. Remain practical and things should be a-okay. Your personalities tend to be very compatible, but hiding things is not good and unfortunately very common. Your Pisces can do things without your permission. They can be invasive. When I think of Pisces, I think of how everything is so fluid with them, and sometimes that means that boundaries are not real boundaries to them. It's not that they always infringe on your space, but sometimes the rules, any kind of rigidity or structure is just not relevant to them because it doesn't really apply to them. They somehow work their way around it, They have just this very flowy nature, and it's really hard for them when they have to be structured and rigid at times. And so they can sometimes invade on your personal space or maybe cross your boundaries a little bit, get very close to you, and you may not even realize it's happening until it's happening, until you're feeling like, whoa, this is a lot, Don't isolate yourselves forever. It's really common for you to just drop truth bombs on each other, like, oh, hi, honey, how was your day? It was okay. I have 5 children that you don't know about. Or, by the way, my real name is Velma. I wasn't going to tell you this, but my mom actually hates you. Also, you know how we were hating on Justin Baldoni? Well, guess what? I'm team Justin Baldoni. I think it's more like the delivery, like it's how you go about it. It may not be that dramatic, but these things come out as truth bombs and you're like, whoa, like it shakes you up. Also, you try to keep things to yourself, but somehow the truth just has a way of coming out and surfacing. When you're raising a family with a Pisces, it's really, really important not to cut them off from your society because this is only going to cause issues in the long run. Being in this dream world that you and your Pisces have created is not a bad thing, but it can be in the long run. And it's really common for you to be very overbearing and possessive with your Pisces. But everyone should be able to have the freedom to do whatever the fuck they want. Don't take that away from them, okay? You have to try not to let your personal biases and opinions get in the way of your decision making. But if your Pisces gets too hot-headed, you can lose your shit. Remain alert of their emotional state. You can feel each other's feelings. It's a very empathic bond. You each have a certain way of doing things that you tend to stick to. Your love for each other is very profound. It has so many layers. Sometimes you may be so close that you depend on each other too much. Codependent relationships are really common for this couple. You're a private couple and you really value your alone time with a Pisces. As parents, you tend to be very protective of your children. You truly shield them from the world and you keep them in a bubble. And this is not usually healthy for them. Jealousy can be a huge issue when you are friends with a Pisces. Insecurities can threaten everything. Just when you thought you resolved your conflict with the Pisces, they can bring it up again. Like they've been harboring resentment or just letting their feelings build up. Resolving conflict isn't as straightforward with them, and it can cause some drama. That may not be your cup of tea, huh? You try really hard to protect each other, but it can be too much. You both tend to stick your noses in each other's business even when it doesn't belong. You might mean well, but it's often crossing a line. Being with them can be lonely. You both want to stake your claim on each other. Like fae mates in romanticities. I don't know if you've read A Throne of Glass or ACOTAR. I'm a huge fan. And there are these mating bonds that these fae have where they're like destined to be together, but they're very possessive, almost like borderline toxic, but you're like swoon because they're not real, Anyway, this reminds me of that. The desire to claim each other. You have a very profound, intimate sex life with a Pisces, but it can bring up some insecurities and it can make you want to be more possessive, want to dig your claws in. You both make excellent parents. You tend to be very compassionate, understanding of your children. You're often friends and co-workers at the same time, and you usually hang out at work and outside of work. You would drive your Pisces insane because you're so unpredictable. Breakups with a Pisces would be really, really difficult because of how attached you get. It would be really difficult to distance yourself from them when you're so linked to them. And it's not something you can just cut off. Like, even if you break up, you're going to still feel that pull. So it can be really excruciating going through a breakup with a Pisces for you. It's like trying to remove a part of yourself. It's like cutting off a piece of yourself. You have to be careful not to become addicted to your Pisces because they can become your addiction. Like, you literally become addicted to them. Often having children with them would cause your Pisces to be with you longer, potentially get old together, because your children often are the missing piece of the puzzle. They're what grounds you. They're kind of what separates that like addictive nature, because you're able to focus your love and attention on something else for a little while, you know? It's often what partners are missing in order to solidify it. Now, of course, if you don't want to have children and you want this to work, that is not the only way, okay? Like, I'm never one to tell someone, just get knocked up and everything will be fine. Like, gross. But some couples do require like a third party or something else to ground them in order for this to work. Sometimes for some couples that can mean like a religion or something to believe in or faith. Other times it can look like getting a cat. You know, like there's something there. And I feel like a lot of the time when things aren't fully working out for this couple, when they have children, somehow it just clicks. They work way better. So something to think about. I don't know. It's really common for drugs or addictive substances or alcohol to be a problem when you date a Pisces. There's so much passion and fire between you. They center you and anchor you. This is your love story and no one else can claim it. And if you're not addicted to each other, then you can live wonderful, long lives together without needing to be really committed to each other. Like, it's amazing. You might sleep with each other, but also have really mature friendships that can last a lifetime. And you usually don't cheat on each other. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you're a Pisces or you were born on the cusp of Gemini and Cancer, I would love to know your thoughts. Did you agree with this? Did you disagree with this? Don't hold back. Let me know what your thoughts are. Have you dated each other before? Is this something that you're familiar with? Do you have a crush on a Pisces? Do you have a really good friendship with a Gemini Cancer cusp? I would love to know your thoughts, and please subscribe to my channel. Support this channel. You're also welcome to book a reading with me if you'd like to on my website, zoethepsychic.com. And I hope to see you back here soon. Bye-bye.